Good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you for giving me this responsibility of being a jury chairman. It is not an easy job, but my job was made easier with the wonderful colleagues I had as my jury members. Thank you, every single jury member who were with me. Well, I came in thinking that it was a 10-day sitting in a library, watching, learning what was in 2024 in Malayalam cinema. And I really relished a 10-day journey with all of them. I hope the unanimous judgment of the jury, where we had to really sit in detail and discuss, has enthralled and satisfied the fans of Malayalam cinema. On behalf of the jury, I have a few observations to make, and after that I'm open for any questions you all have. The first observation I would like to make is about the children's cinema. This year, jury did not give the best children's film and the best child artist, boy and girl. For the simplest reason, we did not find a single film or a single attempt to make a children's film. So with great request and humility, we request the film fraternity to please think of making children's film. The film fraternity, the directors, writers should realize that in a society, it is not just the elders, it is not just the youngsters. Children are part of this society. What children think, what they understand, what is their world has to be made into cinema. Just some children casted in films just to say the heroine is a mother or a hero is a father is not children's cinema. It is not children's cinema at all, because we need to know what children think in the society. They are a very important part of this evolution. And none of the films talked about children's perception, or a few child actors were not speaking their age. They were just props. And I think it is a high time, because we have fought why there were no women-oriented films, women-represented films, strong women characters. And it took decades for men of this industry or the so-called big guys of the industry to realize that we need stronger character to women. I think now is the time to understand that we need to understand what children are, what their world is. And I hope the jury humbly requests and strongly requests the film fraternity to please make films and write roles for children too. Secondly, we had 128 films. But to be very honest, as the jury chairman, when it came to quality, I was surprised we had only 10% of those films which adhered to the quality. Though there was a lot of quality in those 10% of the films, I wish there were more films. We need to understand what is happening. Is it because the so-called big people have become busy with other language films or, pan-Indian films? I think it is their responsibility to keep the health of the industry high, because this is where they grew from. And I wish in the coming years, in spite of the great inroads with makeup, with music, with cinematography, with editing, with subjects, these 10% of the films make Malayalam cinema very proud. I wish Malayalam cinema deserves more film and the audience deserves more wonderful films. And thirdly, it could be a little, I think last year also some jury chairman had spoken about it, about the government empowering, producing a few films. It's a very, very wonderful thing, because government doesn't look at it as business, that we need to empower 3-4 films which they produced to younger generation, younger talent to make good films. But our humble request from the jury is It is taxpayers' money. And you academies and the government are spending that money to empower good films. Please ensure quality too. Please have a team, please have a curative team, get in certain people to judge, take up deserving youngsters making films. And that would probably, I would like to see a film supported by the government, by the academies, to reach the awards, to reach higher spaces and empower the whole thought process, because it's a very vulnerable industry of business, and to be able to spend that much of money, our taxpayers' money, because I think that money which is being given to these 4-5 films, I think the people are the producers of the films. Little more accountability in choosing people and in trusting and bringing in more quality cinema. Other than that, I have not much to say, and I think the jury has had a long discussion and have been appreciated a lot of talents of this 2024 jury awards. And if you have any questions from the media, we are open to the questions. Thank you. Undo, to speak in Malayalam, I'll need some more time. You want to speak? Yeah. I don't think there are any questions. There's too much of silence. We are not worried about records. Even Oscar entries get many accords. But I think that was a very wonderfully made a team effort. It was. See, a film has 24 crafts, and all of them have to tell the director's story. So that many crafts were involved in trying to strengthen and tell the story of that Manjumal Boys, which is a very impossible story to make. And we had no doubts about it. It was not that, just because they're getting more awards, we can't stop them from taking awards. I think they deserved those awards, and that's the jury's decision. Yeah. What does that say? Yes, Mammooty is competing with youngsters, but the point is, we don't look him as a senior man and youngsters, because the presence of Mammooty in Brahmayugam, with a shot of the nuances he carried, just with his presence, was very strong, and youngsters still have to have that expression. But in spite of it, when you see Tobino in ARM, or Asif Ali, I saw 4 of his films. We saw 4 of his films, and there was this effort of these youngsters to excel, and I think that's the influence of great actors like Mammooty and Laletan on them. But still, that when you look at the performing levels of these things, and Mammooty's sheer presence, and the nuances, he did not act, those sort of nuances he brings in is very, I'm very jealous of him, and I think he deserved that control on performances, which is a lesson. And I think the youngsters should just adore him and follow him and try to reach that, than saying that, this is not a charity organization. It is to give who are the best. And if he is still relevant, that is something to be inspired by.
National, he doesn't get duly rewarded, I think, Mammooty.
I don't mind saying that national film awards are compromised. And I'm so happy to be a jury chairman of Kerala, because when they called me, they said, we need an outsider who's experienced, and we will not poke our hands into it, and then we will let you take a decision. That is not happening in the national awards, and we see it when files and piles are getting awards. We know what is it. And I think if such sort of a jury and such sort of a national government, they don't deserve Mammooty. Yeah. Vijay Raghavan was also wonderful. He is a great role. But then if you see Tobino, Kishkinda Kanda and, not Kishkinda Kanda, Kishkinda Kanda, he was wonderful. Yeah. But when I see Siddharth in Brahmayugam and Shobin in this thing, they had a larger role and they carried it more. And of course, there is nothing less. See, what I'm trying to tell you, even I have got 4 national awards. When you get a national awards, you are not the best. That year in the roles you were best. Today probably Mohanlal may not have got the national award. Probably this year he did not get a film to perform. So national awards or state awards is that year's film's recognition. It doesn't make Vijay Raghavan's performance any less. But at the same time, these two were wonderful. As simple as that. Yeah. Ma? Vedhan. See, Vedhan, we liked it because people may think, the regular classical songs get awards. It's a rap. But that is the sound of the younger generation today. And more than just, it is not just an irresponsible music. And the song had life's aspirations and dreams of the youngsters. And there was a layered whole story of the characterization in that film. So a song, instead of being individual, as I said, many crafts tell a story. And that song told the story of Manjumal Boys and created that wanted beginning for that film. And I think it's a very new sound, it's a youngster's sound, and that is how they sing, that is how they express. And we thought that we need to recognize that surge, that energy in that song. All Imagine is Light. I think it was a great effort for Malayalam cinema going into international awards. And I thought that there was an award because there were a lot of good films. So when we had Manjumal Boys, when we had Feministi Fatima, but we had two good films. One was Paradise, and one was All Imagine is Light, which is not much celebrated. And we thought she had done a very internationally wonderful film. So we thought as a jury that it has to be recognized, and that woman's Payal Kapadia's work has to be recognized. So we gave the special jury award for that and to the film called Paradise.